Up first, tensions running high in the Korean peninsula as we go to air. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe warning that North Korea may be capable of firing a missile loaded with sarin nerve gas towards Japan. International concern obviously growing that a missile or nuclear test by the authoritarian state may be imminent. U.S. President Donald Trump at a news conference this week with visiting NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said he spoke with Chinese President Xi Jinping about efforts to stop North Korea from further developing nuclear weapons. Here's what he said.
I think he wants to help us with North Korea. We talk trade, we talk a lot of things, and I said the way you're going to make a good trade deal is to help us with North Korea. Otherwise, we're just going to go it alone. That'll be all right, too. But going it alone means going it with lots of other nations.
And early Friday morning, a North Korean official responded by adding more fuel to the fire, saying the U.S. is far more vicious and more aggressive under the current president and that Pyongyang is prepared to launch a preemptive strike on its own. Now, to bring us up to date on the escalating threats, we are joined in Washington by the host of VOA's Asia in a Minute, Steve Miller, along with international broadcaster Eun Cho with VOA's Korea service. Welcome to both of you, and thank you for joining us. I know things are moving very quickly, but Steve Miller, I just want to get your take on this latest back and forth. Is this a dangerous escalation of words, or what are we seeing just more of the same kind of bluster we've heard out of Pyongyang?
Well, I think you need to take a look at both, really. It's a lot of the same escalation on North Korea's part, the same rhetoric we hear year after year after year, and also in some of the rhetoric we hear from the international community. The change is President Trump tweeting and some of his comments. But if you talk to those in South Korea, they're still going to Yeouido Park to look at the cherry blossoms. They're still enjoying Jjajangmyeon on Friday, April 14th, Black Day there. And according to tour websites, you can still go to Panmunjom and the joint security area as a civilian tourist right inside the DMZ.
So we're looking at pictures of the DMZ the last time you visited there.
Right, that was from a few years ago, but it's a huge tourist area. And as a civilian, you can go there, and Saturday, April 15th, tours are still operating.
What was it like for you when you visited the demilitarized zone?
It was a very surreal experience. I've been a total of 4 times, and the very first time I went, that's when the North Korean guards came out, went right up to the cement line on the demarcation line and stood guard.
Hey, you tall American guy, get back.
No direct communication with them.
I see.
But it was a very surreal experience, and you know, the UN and the U.S. and the ROK forces there are very particular in what you can and cannot do.
I'm curious about North Korea's Vice Foreign Minister's statements, Han. Are these words cause for concern? What is the level of anxiety right now in Seoul as a result of this back and forth that we're hearing?
There has been an escalation of tensions all throughout the week, and I talked to a lot of Koreans throughout this week, and many of them said that they're not really worried because North Korea's saber rattling and South Korea and America's wartime readiness, that's been there for 70 years.
They're
so there's
used to
really
this,
nothing
aren't they?
new about this, yes.
They're used to this, but what about this Minister Han saying these words? Is he saying anything new?
Well, I haven't seen such a level of rise of tensions in previous years, and even Minister Han, but also from a North Korean military statement is also notable. North Korean military says that it is ready to preemptively strike South Korea, and coming from military, that that's important message coming out there.
It's a warning, right, Steve?
Well, it is a bit of a warning, and that is probably one of the little bit of a change we've seen this time is that they're saying they're willing to strike the United States, which they've said in the past, but the preemptive piece of that is a little bit different this time. We've also seen 2 editorials and 2 articles in Chinese newspaper this past week explicitly telling North Korea to either halt their programs or step back, and the China Daily said for North Korea not to do anything reckless either. And in the People's Daily, it made a suggestion that if North Korea were to perhaps suspend its weapons programs, China would take a more active role in protecting North Korea.
So there's a carrot that's being dangled right now.
Well, I think it's a sign because, as I said before, the unknown factor here is what President Trump may do if there is a missile launch or if there is a nuclear detonation.
Right. It's interesting that China is now getting involved as sort of as a peacemaker, something that Donald Trump said, if they're not prepared to do that, take a more active role, we're going to take a more active role. What role should China be playing in this entire dispute?
Well, China, international community is looking to China to step up its pressure against North Korea and enforce strict UN sanctions against North Korea. China is North Korea's biggest trading partner. All the economy, the money is flowing into North Korea through China. So everybody's looking at China to take those sanctions.
So South Korea wants China to take a lot more active role in what is going on right there for the safety of South Korea.
And not just South Korea. The international community needs China to take a more active role. That's one of the things that analysts have told me, is that there can be no solution on North Korea without China being a part of it.
To both of you, what about these reports from the Japanese intelligence that some of the missiles that Pyongyang is capable of launching perhaps may contain, may be tipped with a sarin nerve agent? Again, is that a big concern for the population of South Korea?
I read the South Korean media, and what they're concerned is not about the sarin gas that North Korea may launch against South Korea. What they're concerned about is the hype of concern from the Japanese side, from the Japanese government and the politicians, that they're thinking that Japan is too much worried about North Korea, and that there may be some other ulterior motives that Japan is doing all this.
Steve Miller, I'm wondering, how is this impacting the South Korean elections?
Well, we've seen both candidates slightly change their viewpoints on the THAAD missile defense system, the Terminal High Altitude Defense System. Both candidates were initially very much opposed to that, or looking at revisiting that when they came on the scene. But as Kim Jong-un continues to ratchet up tensions, they've both turned around saying, maybe we need to keep this here. In fact, Ahn Cheol-soo, who is the second candidate right now, in second place, he initially was very much against THAAD being deployed on the peninsula, but has since come out and said, hey, we need to honor the agreements made under the previous administration, so now he's backing the THAAD deployment.
What is the South Korean electorate looking for in their leaders right now? Is the trend sort of leaning a little bit towards more to the right now?
Oh yeah, I mean, if there's a rise of tensions, people will vote for more conservative candidates. Those who are more stern against North Korea, people will vote for that person. And already the candidates are skewed to the right side already, what they're saying and their remarks and policies.
Right, and they are very much viewed as once very liberal, very progressive candidates, but they need that conservative base to get elected, and they've been slowly changing their policies going after that voting bloc.
Right, because right now there aren't really leading conservative candidates right now, so the liberals are skewing to the conservative side to get those conservative votes.
So as a result, we're seeing a tightening up of the race.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, Moon Jae-in has about a 40% approval rating, or in the polls, and then Ahn Cheol-soo has 37%. And according to the latest, those are the two leading candidates.
So now they're almost neck and neck.
Oh yeah.
I'm wondering, in the amount of time that we have, what is the level of trust for President Donald Trump? Do South Koreans trust that he will do the right thing?
Actually, they do. I read the South Korean news reports and the editorials, and what they view is that President Trump is a ultimate deal maker, and that he has this grand plan against North Korea, and that he's on an offensive against North Korea under his strategies and plans.
We shall see. Steve Miller, thank you so much, because I get a lot of my updates on Asia from your VOA 60 reports, so thank you so much for that. And thank you, Eunjung. We have, it's time right now for a short break, but when we come back, souring relations between Russia and the United States and what that might mean for the people of Syria. You're watching The Correspondents on Voice of America.